Hello everybody, Lord Almighty here. Today is Saturday, September 9th, 2017, and despite the fact that it's breezy, we got high sun and high pressure, I'm out here trying to do some bass fishing. Since conditions aren't ideal, I came to this pond and decided to go straight to the deepest part, which is right next to the dam, where I have a feeling some of these bass are going to be in order to go deep and get out of this bright sun. So that's my plan. Hopefully it pans out. You know, another thing I noticed when I got to this spot was all the bait. There are thousands, and I mean that literally, there's thousands of bait fish here, like little 1-inch bait fish. I don't know if you can see them with the riffle on the water and with the wide angle of the camera, but believe me, there's a ton of little bait fish here and around this whole area. So I have a feeling that's going to be a major food source for these bass that are actually probably going to start on their fall patterns, because temps have gotten down into the 50s at night lately. Normally that sort of thing prompts bass to start strapping on the feed bag in anticipation of colder temperatures. There we go. There's a bass. Hit that little micro crankbait. And I tied that on because there is a ton of little bait around here, like little 1 to 1.5 inch bait fish, and that's what he was keyed in on. Matching the hatch is not just for fly fishing. There's a fish. Boy, he knocked slack into it. Absolutely unloaded on it. About the same size as that last one, maybe a little bigger. He sure wanted that crankbait. There's another one. That feels like a bit better fish too. Oh yeah. This one's maybe a pound. Less than a pound, maybe 3/4. It's fat though. There's a fish. That's a little guy. Little bass. There's a fish. Another largie. Small, but definitely willing biters. What these bass seem like they're doing is they're kind of staying in the deeper water on the periphery of where these bait fish are, and whenever they get hungry and the mood strikes them, they just race in, grab a mouthful of bait fish, and then head right back out. So these fish here, if you haven't been able to tell already by how many I've caught, they're definitely actively feeding. There's a fish. Another one that knocked slack into it. Oh, it's a pickerel. Oh, wow, that wasn't great. him hitting the concrete like that, but at least he swam off okay. But yeah, pickerel will go after schools of minnows too, just like bass. There's a fish. All right. Now the bite on that little crankbait pretty much died, so I switched over to this little chatterbait, and that's just a little crappie minnow that I threw on there as a trailer. And this little guy was all over it. That was actually my first cast with this bait too, I think. So I may have just found a way to prolong the action a little. There's another one. That was my second cast with that chatterbait. And this brings up a very important technique. When you're on a school of fish and all of a sudden the bite stops, switch to a different lure, because a lot of times those fish are still there, but they've just kind of gotten wise to your original presentation. So give them a different look and you may be able to start bailing them again. There's a fish. Another one that hit it hard. I can get the hook out. Got him in like this really tough part of his lip. There we go. He's none the worse for wear. Go back and have some real minnows. You deserve it. There's a fish. Little dinker. Another notch in the belt. I'm really piling up the numbers today. Nothing big. I'd love to maybe wrap up the day with a 3-pounder or something, but you know what? I'll take whatever I can get. Alright guys, I went through another couple of lure changes and no action, so I think the fish have either moved on or just stopped biting. But boy, was that ever a ton of fun while it lasted. I thought it might be a little bit early in the year for the bass to start schooling up like that, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm certainly glad that I found this spot. As an added bonus, I think this is the only video I've ever done where I've barely had to move my feet at all. In retrospect, maybe I should have brought a lawn chair or something. So, when you're faced with schooling bass, you want to make sure of two things. You want to change up the lures fairly frequently if the bite's tapering off, and if you catch one fish, throw back into the exact same spot, because there's a good chance that there's more there. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I will see you on the next adventure.